Hey, welcome. Have you ever stopped to wonder how a researcher can take, hundreds of pages of interview transcripts, just raw, messy human conversations, and somehow turn them into these clear, powerful insights? Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain on that exact process. I mean, really think about it. You've just spent hours and hours interviewing people. You're now sitting on this absolute mountain of text. You know the story's in there, somewhere, but finding it, it feels like looking for a needle in a haystack. Where do you possibly begin to make sense of all that? Well, it's not magic, even though it kind of feels like it. It's a method. Researchers have a systematic way to sift through all that data, and they're helped by some seriously powerful software that's designed specifically to find patterns in the things people say. Okay, let's dive right in. The tool we're going to focus on is called MAXQDA. It's a real heavyweight in the world of qualitative data analysis. It was built from the ground up to handle all that non-numeric data. Things like interviews, articles, even focus group discussions. So what even is qualitative analysis? Well, it's way more than just reading. It's this active, systematic process of digging deep into the text. You're organizing it, you're interpreting it, and you're constantly hunting for those recurring ideas and hidden connections. The goal, really, is to find the themes that tell the real story. So how does this actually work in the real world? Well, the very first and maybe most crucial step is just getting organized. Before you can even think about analyzing anything, you've got to create one single secure home for every piece of your research. In MAXQDA, they call this the project file. And honestly, the best way to think of it is as this super secure digital container. All your transcripts, all your notes, all your analysis, everything lives in this one single file. So no more scattered documents all over your desktop. And the best part, every single click, every highlight is saved automatically. It's a lifesaver. So when you open up your project, MAXQDA lays everything out for you in this really brilliant 4-window interface. Up here in the top left, you've got your document window. That's just a list of all your files. You click on one, and boom, it opens up right next to it in the document browser. That's where you'll do all your reading. Now, right below your documents is the code system, which is where you're going to build your list of analytical tags. And finally, when you want to see everything you've tagged with one of those codes, it all pops up down here in the Retrieved Segments window. Everything you need is right there in front of you. So getting started is super simple. You literally just drag and drop your transcript files right into that document window. And for this explainer, we're going to be using a real example from a study about the experiences of heart failure patients. All right, so our documents are in. Now we get to the really critical part. How do we go from just reading the text to actually analyzing it? This is where the magic really starts to happen. And the process is called coding. Now, coding might sound technical, but the idea is actually incredibly simple. The best way to think about it is like you're using digital sticky notes. You're reading along, you find a sentence or an idea that's important, and you just stick a little digital label on it that captures what it's about. And the whole process is just this simple, repeatable loop. First, you highlight a chunk of text that feels important. Second, you create a code, a short little label for it. And third, you'll see a little colored coding strip pop up in the margin, visually tagging your work right there next to the text. That's it. You just do that over and over. Okay, let's look at a real-world example from that heart failure study. A patient says this, quote, "From then on, I have been on treatment here and has been becoming better. There's considerable improvement with the treatment." So as a researcher, you'd highlight that whole section and then you'd create a code for it. A really good label here would be something like witnessing improvement. And just like that, you've turned a raw human statement into a structured piece of data. Now, I want you to imagine you've done this hundreds, maybe thousands of times throughout all your documents. You now have this huge list of codes, all your little digital sticky notes. So, what's next? Well, now the job is to step back from all those individual notes and start looking for the bigger patterns. And researchers call these patterns themes. So, to stick with our analogy, if your codes are the sticky notes, then themes are the folders you start grouping them into. You start looking at your notes and thinking, hey, these 5 are all kind of about the same thing, and you put them together. That's how you start to see the big picture. For instance, let's say you were doing a study about stress. You might end up with dozens of individual codes that look like this. You've got unemployment, spousal conflict, unstable income, conflict with neighbors. Right now, they just look like a random list of problems, right? And this is where that incredible next step happens. You look at your list and you realize, wait a second, unemployment and unstable income, those are both about a bigger idea, financial issues. And spousal conflict and conflict with neighbors, well, you can group those under interpersonal conflict. And all of a sudden, out of all that noise, a clear structure starts to emerge from your data. So, what is the final payoff for all of this work? It's the ability to see and report the foundational story with complete clarity. And not just that, but to have it all backed up by direct evidence from the people you talk to. And the final output, the thing you create from this, is often called a codebook. It looks something like this. It's basically a clean, super organized summary of your entire analysis. And look how it works. It lays out a major theme, like following doctor's advice. It gives a crystal clear definition of what that theme actually means. And then, crucially, it backs it up with a powerful direct quote from a real person. That's your evidence right there. And that's really the whole journey. You go from this massive, intimidating pile of raw text all the way to a structured, evidence-based story that truly represents the human experiences you were studying. You've actually found that hidden story.
So, I guess the final thought to leave you with is this. This whole process isn't just for academics in a lab. It's fundamentally a way of finding deeper meaning in words. So think about it. If you could apply this kind of systematic listening to any conversation in your life or your work, what hidden patterns, what hidden stories do you think you might uncover?